Safety training in the Aleutian and Pribilof region for grades kindergarten through 12th grade from the Healthy Relationship Team at Aleutian Pribilof Islands Association. This presentation has been prepared for kindergarten students through 12th grade high school seniors with languages and images appropriate for all ages. The learning objectives: by the end of this presentation, you should know more about Unanga values related to safety, safety outdoors, safety around weapons, safety from bullies, safety on the internet, safety around people, and safety during emergencies. Table of contents of this presentation: a quick section on definitions, an Unanga introduction to your presenter, Unanga values related to safety, safety topics, books related to safety in the Aleutians, and the summary is going to be kind and be careful. At the end of the presentation, there will be an opportunity for questions, comments, and feedback. Definitions: you might hear or see a word you do not know. This word is Unanga. Unanga is a word for the people who have lived in the Aleutian Islands for thousands of years. It's sometimes spelled Unangan or Unangas. An Unanga introduction: my name is Michael Ikiach Livingston. My Unanga name is Ikiach, meaning single hatch sea kayak. I was raised in Cold Bay on the Alaska Peninsula. My mother is from Alaska. My father's family is from Scotland. Some of my family's greatest safety accomplishments: the medical clinic in Cold Bay is named in honor of my mother, the Anna Livingston Memorial Medical Clinic. A little about my safety training: I took my first aid class when I was about 12 in Cold Bay, and since then I've taken ETT, Emergency Trauma Training, EMT1, Emergency Medical Training 1, EMT2, and I've worked in Alaska for about 27 years as a police officer. As a police officer, I've responded to many fire calls, many emergency medical service calls, many police calls. And so I've had a big range of field experience in the area of safety. Safety is important because when people get hurt, it's sad. And we don't want anybody else hurt. We want people to be safe and to be careful. The first Unanga value related to safety is tu tada, which means listen. And we know that we can listen with our ears, but there's many other sensory organs in our body that can also help us in listening. For example, our eyes can help us when we're listening. If we're standing on the ground and there's a major event like an earthquake or a car crash or a train crash close by, we can hear those events through our feet. And so to tada means to listen with your entire body. Don't get ahead of yourself. Sometimes as I'm reading this, as I'm going through this presentation, you'll hear me fumble a little bit on my words. That's because I'm getting ahead of myself. So it's important to not get ahead of yourself. Help others. It's real important in the Unanga region to help others and to be kind to others. It's important that we are kind to each other and we help each other in our journey through life. These values are from the Kaolungan tribe of Unalaska, the Sea Lion tribe. Another value related to safety is do the things that you know are right. So in life, it's kind of like you're in a vehicle or walking on a path and then there's a fork in the road. There might be a fork to the right and a fork to the left. The fork to the right is to do the right thing. And the fork to the left is to do the wrong thing. The wrong thing might be stealing someone else's property. The wrong thing might be hurting someone else. The wrong thing might be a wide range of bad things to do. It's important that we take the right path, that we do things that we know are right, and that we don't do things that we know are wrong. Do not do anything to excess. It's important that we be moderate. We don't be greedy. We don't take more than we need. We don't take more food. We don't take more water. We don't take more dessert. It's important that we do not do anything to excess. Safety while outdoors in the Aleutians. It's important when we're youngsters to make sure to get permission first from our parents or our grandparents or our guardian or teachers. If we want to go someplace like out for a hike or a walk or out in a car or a boat or a plane, get permission first. And the second thing is important that we file a safety plan, a flight plan. So we need to make sure that we tell someone else where we will be going, who we will be going with, and when we will return. That way, if something happens, they will know where to send the search parties. If we say that we're going to fly from Unalaska to Nikolsky, and it's going to take about 45 minutes, if the plane doesn't show up in Nikolsky, they can launch other planes to try to find us. So always make sure to file a safety plan, a flight plan, even if you're just going out for a walk or a boat ride or a hike or anything like that. The average human body temperature is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and if our body temperature drops only 3.6 degrees to 95 degrees, hypothermia sets in. It's more difficult for us to use our hands or our feet, and so it's always important for us not to become hypothermic. What is the average temperature in the Aleutians? Well, you can rest assured it's below 98.6 degrees. So every time we step out of the house, especially without appropriate clothing on, our body temperature is slowly beginning to cool. Safety while on the Aleutian waters. Always travel in pairs, whether you're on the water or land or you're in a car or a plane. Make sure that there's always two of you in case one of you gets hurt or something happens. Dress in layers for the weather. In other words, have on layers of clothes, jackets, vest, and a raincoat. Bring along rain pants. Even if it's sunny and hot, bring along rain pants and rain boots, because we all know that the weather in the Aleutians changes in just a matter of minutes. Also bring along some extra food, some extra water, and a compass. A compass will always tell you what direction is north and will help you return where you need to get to. If you're on the water, always wear a life jacket. So if you're on a river in a boat or a canoe or a kayak, make sure to wear a life jacket. If you're on the ocean in a kayak or a canoe or a boat, make sure to wear a life jacket. Anytime you're on the water or a lake or a river or the ocean, you should always wear a life jacket. What are some of the other things you can bring with you in case an emergency happens? So you might bring things to make a fire, such as a striker or matches, a lighter, some dry material, something to make some firewood with. You might bring a small container to heat up some water so you can make a warm drink for yourself. Safety around weapons in the Aleutians. Anytime you hear about a kid bringing a weapon to school, you need to report it immediately. Tell the teacher, tell the principal, tell the school nurse, tell the school office, tell a friend, tell your parents. Anytime another kid has a weapon in school, there's a chance that someone can get hurt pretty quickly. And we don't want to see people get hurt. It's real sad when people get hurt. So again, if a kid brings a weapon to school, report it immediately. And again, weapons can hurt people. We don't need any more hurt people. When people get hurt, it's real sad. Report weapons right away. You can also learn first aid to help others. For example, emergency trauma technician, emergency medical technician, basic first aid, AED and CPR. AED is automatic external defibrillator, and CPR is cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So find those training classes and sign up for them and pass them so that you can learn how to help people during emergencies. Safety from bullying in the Aleutians. Bullying is not permitted in the schools. It's not permitted outside the schools. It's not permitted any place. If someone bullies you, report it right away. Report it to your teacher, report it to your principal, report it to the school office, report it to your parents or your friends, and report it right away. The sooner bullying gets reported, the sooner it will be stopped. Safety around other people. You should be suspicious and report people who want to give you free money or free candy or free food, or anybody who tries to give you drugs or tobacco or other bad things, or anybody that asks you to keep a secret. Quite often people ask you to keep a secret because they know what they're doing is wrong. So make sure to report those right away to your school or your family or your friends so that we can get that stopped. Safety on the internet. There are many bad people on the internet who want to know personal private information about you. Your first name, your middle name, your last name, your address, your age, the month you were born, the day you were born, the year you were born, your email address, your phone number, your home address, the city you live in, the street you live in, the state you live in. And the bad people on the internet want this information so that they can gain control over you. So anytime this happens, make sure to report it right away to your family, your friends, or your teachers. Who do you feel safe around? It's important that if an emergency happens, that you already have in your mind some places you can go to that are safe. For example, in addition to your home, you might feel safe around your school teacher or the school nurse, a police officer, a village public safety officer, or personnel from your medical clinic. In case something happens, we all need to find a safe place. And there are many emergencies that can happen out in the Aleutian region, so we need to get prepared for those emergencies and know someplace safe where we can go to. So starting to move towards the summary. Remember the Unanga values. Listen with your ears, your eyes, your toes, your nose. Listen with all your senses, your entire body. Don't get ahead of yourself. Help others. Be kind to other people. Do the things you know are right. Do not do anything to excess. A couple books related to safety in the Aleutians. Ethel Ross Oliver wrote a book, awesome book called Aleutian Boy. Ethel and her husband taught in Atka village shortly after World War II. And Ethel wrote a book called Aleutian Boy about an Aleut boy who lived in Atka. The school teacher's son came down from Anchorage, and the two boys, the Aleut boy and the white boy, the day was wonderful. The sun was out. It was flat calm, no wind. The seas were nice. They decided to go fishing. And what happens every time that the weather's beautiful in the Aleutians, it gets more beautiful with wind and rain and waves. And before too long, the two boys were shipwrecked on an island all by themselves. And to survive, they had to learn the ancient ways. They had to learn how to make a barabara, an unangamula, traditional sod house, using driftwood and grass and dirt. They had to learn how to fish, how to make a hook to catch a fish, how to make a fire to cook the fish. They had to learn how to get a seal to survive. And eventually they had to learn how to make an alusta, a two-hatch kayak to paddle back to civilization. So Aleutian Boy by Ethel Ross Oliver is a great survival book. More recent book is Coming Back Alive by Spike Walker. We quite often think in Alaska, if we get hurt, we can pick up a phone and call the Coast Guard, and they'll be there in their amazing helicopter in a matter of seconds. Well, that's just not true. Number one, our cell phones or our phones don't always work. And number two, the weather can be so challenging in the Aleutians that even the Coast Guard can't come and get us. And sometimes Coast Guard people get hurt when they're trying to rescue people. So it's important to modify our mindset and to not put ourselves into situations to where we have to call the Coast Guard. Part of being kind to each other is to learn how to express appreciation, and I encourage you on YouTube to search I Love You in Aleut, and the awesome Ethan Pettigrew will help you learn how to say Ting Yach Takuk. So I encourage you again to find that on YouTube, learn how to practice it and say it. So summary for safety in the Aleutians: get permission before you go out, report weapons in school, report bullying, be kind to others, help others, learn first aid, learn how to help others during an emergency, take ETT, Emergency Trauma Technician, EMT1, Emergency Medical Technician, Basic First Aid, AED, and CPR. Help learn how to keep your family and your friends safe during an emergency. I want to finish up by saying thank you, Kagasa-kun, for attending, Kagasa-kun for paying attention. We want you to stay safe. We want you to live long, happy lives. We want you to have healthy relationships with each other. And after this presentation, you will have an opportunity to ask questions or give comments or feedback to your attention. So in conclusion, Kagasa-kun, thank you. Be safe out there.